Last night, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert turned into a blazing showdown when Susan Crawford, the prominent legal scholar and tech policy expert, was kicked off the set after a fiery confrontation with Stephen Colbert. A clash that left viewers stunned, the studio in chaos, social media erupting with the fallout. Sources say what began as a high-profile interview, with Crawford defending her work on tech regulation, spiraled into a heated exchange, with Colbert's biting humor driving Crawford to a breaking point that ended in her ejection. A moment, already the night's viral bombshell. Before we dive into this wild unraveling, drop a comment with where you're watching from. Hit subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories like this. Crawford, known for her incisive takes on digital policy, strode onto the set with her characteristic confidence, ready to discuss her latest advocacy, her bold ideas. But Colbert wasn't here for a soft pitch, opening with a cutting jab. "Susan, you're a tech crusader, or just chasing headlines." The quip, laced with edge, hit hard, and insiders say the audience felt it, some chuckling, others tensing, as Crawford smiled tightly. "I'm a crusader, Stephen. You're just a comedian." The tension flared fast. Colbert rolled a clip of a debated Crawford proposal, critics arguing, "That's Susan's vision," he smirked. "But is it progress or just noise?" Crawford fired back, her voice steady. "It's progress, Stephen. I shape policy, you shape laughs." The crowd splitting, some cheering, others murmuring, as producers watched, sensing the segment veering off script, friction brewing early. Sources say the room buzzed, Crawford's poise held, but Colbert's eyes glinted. He saw a crack. The stage set for a confrontation that would end with Crawford kicked off. What's got everyone hooked isn't just the start, it's how fast it turned fierce. Crawford leaned in. "You don't get my work, Stephen. I'm building frameworks. You're building punchlines." And Colbert struck. "Frameworks? You're building chaos, Susan. I'll prove it." His jab personal, piercing. The crowd gasped, some shouted, others filmed, as the clash took a raw turn, with Crawford's jaw tightening, Colbert's grin sharpening, the night charging toward a fiery, chaotic peak, the heat just starting to sear. The fiery confrontation on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night surged into a heated onslaught, as Stephen Colbert, his wit a live wire, began tearing into Susan Crawford, the prominent legal scholar and tech policy expert, with a series of sharp jabs that turned a tense interview into a volatile showdown, leaving the studio charged, producers on edge, Crawford's composure starting to fray. Sources say after Crawford's bold claim, "I'm building frameworks," and her dismissal of Colbert's punchlines, the host fired back with venom, fueling a clash that's already scorching the internet. Colbert, his grin sly, zeroed in on Crawford's policy boasts. "Chaos, Susan? Your plans spark fights. Your ideas flop." His voice edged with sarcasm as he rolled a clip of a contentious Crawford tech proposal, critics clashing, the crowd reacting fast, some chuckling, others murmuring while Crawford's tone stiffened. "Flop? I deliver solutions, Stephen. You deliver jokes," her retort firm, clipped, drawing cheers, boos, from the divided audience, the tension thickening with every word. The host pressed harder. "Solutions? Or just a circus, Susan? You're a one-woman drama reel," sources say. Crawford's eyes narrowed, her voice rising. "Drama? I've shaped policy, Stephen. You've shaped skits." The comeback bold, strained, the crowd erupting, some shouting, "Go Susan!" Others jeering, as producers whispered, "She's hooked," their headsets buzzing, the segment slipping from its usual groove, friction mounting. Colbert grinned. "Skits? You're the act, Susan. Your fuse is lit." His jab-cutting, personal, stoking Crawford's fire. What fueled the blaze wasn't just the taunts, it was Crawford's defiance. Insiders report she leaned forward. "Act? I've got vision, Stephen. I'm fighting battles. You're fighting ratings." her tone raw, intense, and Colbert struck back. Battles? You're fighting flops, Susan, look at you, pointing at her tense grip. The audience splitting wider, some chanting, Colbert, Colbert, others jeering, with phones filming, X-posts surging. Crawford's rattled, one read, racking, up likes. As the clash grew fiercer, Crawford's mask slipping. The studio pulsed with heat. Sources say Crawford's hands tightened on the desk. Flops? I'm a force, Stephen. I'll outlast your snark. Her voice trembling slightly, and Colbert pounced. Force? You're a punchline now, Susan, sparking live. His words ruthless, cutting. The crowd roaring, some standing, others yelling, while producers signaled a break, their hands waving. But Crawford pushed over. I'm not sparking, you're nothing. Her bravado wobbling, the chaos swelling with insiders noting, she's fraying. The night charging toward a fiery, explosive peak, Colbert's assault unrelenting. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert erupted into a blazing storm last night, as Stephen Colbert, his wit a flamethrower, drove Susan Crawford, the prominent legal scholar and tech policy expert, into a fiery confrontation, a relentless barrage, turning a heated clash into a public breaking point, leaving the studio tense, the audience divided, Crawford's defenses crumbling under the pressure. Sources say Crawford's shaky vow, I'm not sparking, after defending her force, met Colbert's ruthless taunt, igniting a meltdown that's now dominating every platform. Colbert, his grin sharp, intensified his attack. Punchline, Susan? Your proposals are a farce. Your battles flop. His voice biting, mocking, as he flashed a montage. Crawford's policy critiques, protest headlines, the crowd reacting hard, some laughing, others gasping, while Crawford's jaw clenched. Farce? I'm a reformer, Stephen, you're a cynic. Her voice loud, trembling, the audience surging, cheers clashing with boos, as producers watched, hands twitching, the live feed holding, tension soaring. The host dug deeper. Reformer? You're fueling chaos, Susan, look at the mess. His jab vicious, personal, and Crawford snapped back. Chaos? I've built solutions, Stephen. You've built nothing. Her words fierce, faltering with strain, the crowd splitting, some shouting, burn him, Susan, others jeering with phones filming, X-posts exploding. Crawford shaken, one read, trending fast. Colbert grinned. Solutions? You're a disorder, Susan, your spark's fading, pointing at her flushed glare, the audience roaring, some chanting, break her, others pleading, ease up, as the chaos swelled. What turned the heat into a wildfire wasn't just the insults, it was Crawford's fury. Insiders say she stood, slamming the desk. Disorder? I'm a force, Stephen. I'll bury you. Her tone raw, roaring. And Colbert fired back. Force? You're a flop factory, Susan. Bury yourself. His taunt ruthless, the crowd splitting wider, some rushing the stage edge, others yelling, with clips hitting X, Crawford's unhinged, racking up shares. As Crawford shouted, I'm not a flop, I'll crush you. Her voice cracking with anger, hands pounding again, the room igniting. The studio became a tinderbox. Sources report producers signaled security, their voices urgent. She's hot. But Crawford pressed on. You're a nobody, Stephen. I'm everything. Her fury shaking, sweat beading as Colbert stood. Everything? You're a tantrum, Susan. Crashing live. His command sharp, piercing. The crowd erupting, some tossing cups, others live streaming, while Crawford roared, I'm not crashing. You're done. Her voice thundering, eyes wild. The confrontation, peaking with insiders noting, she's over the edge. The night hurtling toward a fiery collapse, Colbert's pressure unyielding. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert hit its fiery zenith last night, as Stephen Colbert, his wit a relentless blaze, drove Susan Crawford, the prominent legal scholar and tech policy expert, into a chaotic collapse during a fiery confrontation. A brutal showdown spiraling into a breaking point on live TV, leaving the studio in turmoil, viewers agape, the internet a wildfire of reaction. Sources say Crawford's thundering roar, "I'm not crashing, you're done," met Colbert's final, searing strike, sparking a meltdown that sealed her ejection. The night's peak, a raw, explosive eruption. Colbert, his grin cold, landed. A devastating blow. "Crashing, Susan? Your ideas are a sham, you're the proof." His voice sharp, cruel, as he flashed a mock reel, Crawford's policy critiques, failed initiatives, fiery sound bites, the crowd reacting hard, some laughing, others gasping while Crawford's face twisted. "Sham? I'm a titan, Stephen. You're a speck," her voice booming, fracturing with rage. The audience surging, cheers clashing with boos, as producers watched, hands frozen, the live feed holding, chaos exploding. The host pressed harder. "Titan? You're a tire fire, Susan, burning live," his jab vicious final. And Crawford lunged forward. "Fire? I fought for progress. You fought for laughs." Her words furious, eyes blazing with Colbert pouncing. "Progress? You're a meltdown, Susan. Your sparks toast," pointing at her trembling frame. The crowd roaring, some chanting, "Fall, fall," others shouting, "Hold on," as phones filmed, X-posts surging. "Crawford's done," one read, trending, fast. Crawford roared, "I'm not toast, you're trash," her hands slamming the desk, fury spilling, a bellow shaking the stage. The confrontation broke wide open. Insiders say Crawford stood fully. "Trash? I'm a legend, Stephen. I'll crush you." Her voice raw, unhinged, as Colbert leaned in. "Legend? You're a mess, Susan, crashing live." His taunt merciless, the audience surging, some standing, filming, others yelling, with clips hitting X instantly. "Crawford's meltdown live," one read, racking up shares, another showing her roar. "She's lost it," going viral, millions watching. Crawford shouted, "I'm not a mess, you're nothing." Her voice shaking, desk rattling, the chaos overwhelming, her control gone. What sealed the ejection was Crawford's unraveling. Sources report she ripped off her mic. "I'm done. With this, you're dead." Her voice a mix of rage, exhaustion, hurling the mic at the floor, the crash resounding while Colbert laughed. "Dead? You're the wreck, Susan. Get out." His words brutal, final. The crowd erupting, some rushing the stage, others chanting, "Kick her," as security lunged, grabbing Crawford, who thrashed, "Let me go, I'll walk," her fury blazing. The confrontation complete with insiders saying, "She's shattered." The night ending with her exit. Colbert's triumph absolute. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert descended into sheer pandemonium last night as Susan Crawford, the prominent legal scholar and tech policy expert, was kicked off the set after a fiery confrontation, her thrashing, roaring exit on live TV leaving the studio in shambles, viewers stunned, the internet exploding with the fallout of a clash that broke her live. Sources say Crawford's furious cry, "Let me go, I'll walk," as she tore free from security, marked the end of her stand, with Colbert's cool triumph resounding, the night's chaos hitting a blazing peak. Crawford, fury unleashed, broke. From security's grasp, I'll walk," her voice a ragged bellow storming toward the exit, her frame tense, face flushed, as Colbert stood, arms crossed. "Get out, Susan, your mess is done." His taunt sharp, victorious. The crowd roaring, some cheering, "Gone, gone." Others gasping, "No, Susan," while security trailed, hands hovering, unable to halt her stomping retreat. The live feed capturing every wild stride, her figure vanishing into the wings, a tempest fading under the studio lights. The audience lost all control. Insiders say some surged forward, phones flashing, filming Crawford's stormy exit. Others pounded seats, shouting, "She's out!" while a few cried support. "Crawford forever!" The room a clash of noise, with producers stunned, their headsets buzzing. "She's off! Keep it live!" one stammered. The broadcast holding, showing the wrecked desk where Crawford once sat, now a testament to her collapse. Colbert leaned in. "That's the Crawford exit, folks. All noise, no hold." His voice dripping mockery, sparking roars, laughter as chaos reigned, some tossing cups, others live streaming, the energy untamed. What turned this moment into a spectacle wasn't just the rage, it was Crawford's downfall. Sources report her last snarl. "I'll bury you," roared as she vanished, barely audible, her defiance drowned in anger, while Colbert waved, "Bury me. You buried yourself, Susan. See ya." His final barb ruthless, the crowd splitting wider, cheers crashing against boos, with X exploding, clips of Crawford's frantic exit trending. "She's done," one post read, racking up shares. Another, of her mic toss, Colbert kicked her, going viral. Millions watching the wreckage loop. Insiders say producers let it roll. The ratings spike a gold mine. The chaos too hot to cut. The immediate aftermath slammed hard. Crawford's team scrambled backstage. Sources hint she raged into a corner. "This isn't over." Her voice, a furious rasp, aides rushing to shield her while Colbert strutted. "That's how you boot a firebrand," he quipped to the crowd, their cheers deafening, some surging the stage, others filming as security cleared the wings. The nights, and a smoldering wreck. Online, the tide turned fast. Crawford crashed. One thread read, "Colbert's king." Another claimed, with analysts noting, "He broke her live." The host's win locked. The fallout poised to blaze on. A storm just beginning. The fallout from Susan Crawford's ejection from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night after a fiery confrontation has unleashed a torrent of reaction, with the prominent legal scholar and tech policy expert's stormy exit ending in her furious backstage roar, "This isn't over," turning a live TV clash into a global spectacle, leaving Crawford's image in tatters, Colbert's victory blazing, the internet, airwaves buzzing with takes that won't fade. Sources say what began as a bold defense of her policy work ended with Crawford kicked off, her downfall a viral blaze, the clash's ripples shaking everything in its path. Crawford's backstage rage landed like a spark. Insiders report she paced, fists clenched. "This isn't over." Her voice a raw snarl, aides hustling her out as cameras swarmed, while X erupted, her statement, "I'll rise stronger," posted later, pulling 115,000 likes, but swamped by replies, "You crashed, Susan," trending fast, with clips of her stormy exit, mic toss looping millions of times. Crawford booted, a viral thread claimed, memes of her retreat captioned, "Policy, tantrum," flooding TikTok, Instagram. Supporters rallied, "She's a fighter, they're petty," one post pleaded. But the tide surged, her reputation bruised. Colbert's camp soaked in the glory. Sources say his next show opened with, "We had Crawford. She flared. I floored her." His quip smug, victorious, pulling record ratings, a 65% surge, snagging viewers hooked on the chaos while insiders hint he's gloating. "She burned, I won." His team buzzing, eyeing more bold strikes, with analysts noting, "He owned it," though some whisper, "Crawford's plotting." The triumph edged with risk. The crowd's cheers echoed, "Colbert rules," ringing online, locking his edge sharper. The internet split like a fault line. Crawford fans mourned, "They ambushed her, she's gold," one X post read, racking up shares, while critics feasted. "Crawford's a loud flop." Another hit viral status, with debates raging. Was it fair? Trending, clips of her fury dissected. She snapped, one pundit said. Colbert played it perfect. Another added, predicting a PR hit for her advocacy. Academic chatter spiking, her brand singed. Sources say Crawford's holed up, fuming, with talk of a counterstrike, maybe a public essay. Her silence loud, the ejection a scar that's sticking. The ripple effects are seismic, late nights rattled, experts call it a shift. Colbert flipped the script or fried it, one said, networks eyeing riskier guests or tighter control, risking fade if they misstep, while viewers divide, half cheer. He felled a firebrand, half cringe, too harsh. The clash, a cultural burn. Crawford's fall, Colbert's peak, etched in viral lore. This isn't over, it's a fuse. Crawford's comeback, Colbert's next play, set to ignite. So stay tuned. If you're hooked on this madness, smash that subscribe button now. Don't miss the next blaze.